Hello, my name is Frederick Valles. I'm one of the founders of Optmyzr. Thank you for joining today to take a look at team capabilities in the Optmyzr system. So we're doing this webinar because we just removed one of the limits on our plans. It used to be that there was a limit on how many team members you could put in Optmyzr, but we recently decided to remove that so that everyone on the team could have their own account and take advantage of some of the cool features that you get as individual users. So a few items of housekeeping first. You should be able to see my screen, so I'm showing a few slides here and then we'll go into demo in just a minute. But as far as housekeeping, I am recording this video. So anyone else you want to show this to, you'll have a video link about 1 or 2 days after we finish up here. And then if you have any questions, this obviously is time for you, so please do ask those questions in the Q&A window. You can also use the chat window. And in fact, if people want to either use one of the Q&A window or the chat window to tell me how much they've been working in Optmyzr in the past, just to give me an idea of whether you're brand new to Optmyzr or if I should just really mainly focus on those team capabilities, so that would help me. If you do want to follow up with anything, we're always happy to help, so just shoot an email to our support team at support@optmyzr.com, and then we can schedule some one-on-one time to give your whole team a demo. We'd like to do that on at least a quarterly basis because we have lots of new capabilities all the time, so we want to make sure that you see everything that's new in Optmyzr. And then if you do want to meet us in person, we will be at SMX Advanced presenting there in June, so that's coming up soon. That's in Seattle. And then I myself will also be leading one of the master's classes for Advanced PPC. That's going to be at PubCon in Las Vegas this fall. And if you want to follow my blog, I also do blog on a monthly basis for Search Engine Land. Got my next blog post going live next Wednesday, and it's going to be on the topic of AMP landing pages. So those are the pre-cached landing pages that load much faster. But anyway, the agenda for today, we're going to look at how to customize your MCC dashboard, how to customize one-click optimizations, how to do workouts using your custom filters, the inbox and history, which is going to have user level detail, and then I'll show you the user activity dashboard. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at. So let me jump into the interface and show you some of the team capabilities. All right, so there we go. So here you've got the MCC dashboard, and I'm going to assume that most people here are pretty familiar with Optmyzr, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining the interface. But I'm going to really focus on the team features. So one thing that I do notice when I talk to people and I demo using their own data is a lot of people don't realize they can actually customize this view. So every user who has their own login into Optmyzr can have their own custom view of this MCC dashboard. And that works a couple of different ways. So first of all, you might want to set up different columns that you like to look at. So if you have a lot of e-commerce clients, you might want to look at something like conversion value divided by cost. That's basically your return on ad spend column. If you happen to be working with clients across different countries and they have different currencies, you might want to turn on the currency field so that you actually know what currency you're looking at. If you're working with a team and you are on one of the pro plans, then you can also turn on notes, tags, as well as monthly budgets. So let me turn on the monthly budget and the percent of monthly budget spent. So I can set up this dashboard exactly the way that I like it. And then rather than me having to turn on these columns every single time I come back, there's this little link up here, save this as my default view. And that's something you want to click, because then that way, the next time you come back to this page, it's going to have exactly the same list of accounts, right? So in this case, these are my favorite accounts, and it's going to have the same columns already set up. It's also going to do the date range and the date range comparison. So it's going to save all of that. And so obviously that may be different for different team members. And again, so sort of like a team manager may care more about longer term history, whereas someone actively managing the account may actually look at like, what was the performance yesterday? Did we have an unusually low number of clicks or something like that? So you can do all of that. Now, the things that really help with team capabilities are notes. So if one of your team members talks to a client and that client has some interesting insight and maybe changes the cost per acquisition goal or tells you about some keywords that they're not happy about because maybe they're competitor keywords, anything like that, what you want to do is go next to the account. If you hover over it, you can click on that little icon right there, and that's what will open up the notes field. So here now we can set a new goal. So we can type on top of that. We can also attach labels. So if we have accounts in different verticals or different service tiers, you can come up with your own labels. You can just custom type those in here. And this is also where you set the monthly budget field. So go ahead and hit Save Settings, and then you can close out of this. And so now this makes this whole dashboard a little bit more useful. So you'll see the columns that you want, as well as some information that helps you manage it. By the way, this monthly budget field is pretty useful as well. We find a lot of people like this. The way to usually run this is then you want to look at this month as far as the data. So that's going to show you if this is our target, how far along are we towards hitting that. And today being May 4th, so slightly more than 10% into the month, we can already see that this number is far too high, and it looks like for these other two accounts they're running a little bit slow. So that would indicate maybe we want to go and make some budget adjustments. All right, so that's number one. The other thing I want to point out here is you do all have favorites, and enabling and disabling favorites simply means you click on the star, and then that corresponds to the starred account view. You can also go into everybody starts off by default, by the way, in the all accounts view. You can click on star, and then that way, if you work at a larger agency or you have a larger team, you don't need to look by default at everybody's accounts. You can just focus on the ones that you actually care about. And these favorites obviously are going to be different for everyone on the team who's got their own login. So that's number one. So let me jump into now a one-click optimization, and let me show you what you can do with your own accounts in that. So I'm going to pick the keyword Lasso, which is our search terms management tool. And so here what it's doing right now is it's fetching good suggestions based on all the query data. I looked at this account yesterday. It had about 70,000 queries that were in the report if you were to go to Google. But here we've boiled it down to 667 that we think are really good suggestions for new keywords to add. And that's based on the CTR or conversions methodology. Now, when you load this page, it may actually start off with a different instant filter. And these instant filters, these are Optmyzr's pre-built methodologies to try to give you good suggestions, because we truly do want to make this a one-click optimization. So if you load that page, we recommend something that we think is a good suggestion, and if you like it, you can just click the button to add it to the account. But we also know a lot of agencies, a lot of account managers, they like to do their own thing. They like to customize it a bit, and so we do have those capabilities. So the reason that for me it started out on CTR or conversions is because it remembers my settings for the user. Okay, so if I come back to this tool tomorrow, but I had changed to looking at maybe top suggestions, then it's going to show me the top suggestions by default. So it remembers for each user how you like to look at the optimization. So here now we're looking at top suggestions. Let me switch it into conversions. So we're going to say, find me all of my converting queries, and maybe these are ones that I want to add. Okay, but now I look at this and I see some of these only have one conversion. So if I'm of the opinion that we shouldn't be adding these to the account based on just one conversion, I can open up the custom filters. And let me show you again how I did that. So I went into create new filter. You can create a team filter or your personal filter. It doesn't really matter which one of these two you click on, because at the time that you save it, that's where you're actually given the option to save for different people. But let me show you what I wanted to do. So I wanted to say, let's only add stuff if it has at least 2 conversions. So notice we have 133 suggestions here. I've updated that number to 2, so now we're down to 43 suggestions. So maybe I feel like this is a much better optimization for me to do. Now, if I think that I would want to do this repetitively, or next week when I come back, I can save that just as my personal filter, just for me. Then I'm going to give it a name, and then it's going to show up for me in my personal filter section. Now, if I'm building this optimization and I think my whole team should be using this, then I can save it as a team filter, so for my team. That way, anyone who's got access to your Optmyzr account is going to see those filters in this little section right here. So it's a really good way for you to be able to set something up that your whole team is going to take advantage of. But you also have the capability to make a filter that's just visible to you, that follows your own custom workflow. So that's how you do all of that. So with this, then, the final steps I would do in here, and this is not really team specific, but in here I'd probably want to make these new keywords exact matches across the board. And then maybe I want to make single keyword ad groups from them. So I would say create a new ad group. And then on the next field, I would just say make a new ad group for each one based on the keyword name. And then we're going to go and generate all of the new ad groups, put in the ad text, put in the starting bid and the keyword, the exact match keyword. So a very fast way for me to make 43 new single keyword ad groups using this tool. Now, once I've run an optimization as a user, that is going to go into your optimization history. So if you, to this point, had perhaps been sharing a login, the problem is you don't really know who of the users using that same login actually made the change. But now I can see, oh, okay, Frederick made a change, or Madhurima made a change. Who made a change? And what were those changes that were made? Okay, so we can even download the CSV file to see exactly what kind of work was done. So it's a nice way to monitor what's going on for your team. And then there's also the optimization inbox. So if you're not sure about what to work on today or what opportunities may exist in the account, that's where the inbox comes in handy. So notice here by default, I'm looking at start accounts. So this is nice because rather than looking at 100 different accounts and all the suggestions for those, this is actually the inbox for the accounts that I care about, the ones that I've started. And so start accounts, that's what I showed you on the first page, the MCC Dashboard. It's whichever accounts I had starred and made my favorites. These are the ones for which we're suggesting which optimizations you can do. And then you can see for this particular account, demo shirts, in the first page Bridger methodology, we have 27 suggestions. So then I can click on this and that jumps me into the optimization. And then it'll actually tell me what work to do. So that is customized as well for all of the different users. So that's how that works. Next, let me show you kind of an extension now of one-click optimization. So imagine again, I've gone into keyword Lasso. I've built my own, or I built a filter that I've shared to the whole team. But what if I wanted to make that part of the typical workflow that my agency or my team goes through? So that's where the account workouts come in. Account workouts, these are workflow tools that sit on top of one-click optimizations. By default, every user on Optmyzr gets the 4 optimization workouts that we've already predefined for you. So this is a good starting point, just kind of to show you the capabilities of the tool. But the real power of the tool is not in terms of taking one of the optimizations that we suggest, it's in terms of building your own custom one. So if your agency has a workflow where you like to do A/B testing for ads first, and then maybe follow it up with some new keywords, you can build that into a custom workout. So just go to the custom page, and then at the bottom right there, you can build your own custom workout. Okay, so what I can do now on this page is I can put in which optimizations I want to do. So for example, A/B testing for ads, and then I want to do keyword Lasso. Now here's where the team capabilities come into play. So for the keyword Lasso, remember how I was showing you how to make team filters? So those team filters, they will show up right there. Sorry, I got a little issue with my screen right there. Okay, so these team filters, if you made a new team filter, that actually shows up in here. So now you can say, not only should you be doing the keyword Lasso methodology, but run it by default with exactly the filters that I just made, that I saved for the whole team. So up top here, these are the Optmyzr methodologies, but down here, these are your methodologies. So you can save it that way, and you can do this for each of the different tools. So you can also set up how you want people to do the A/B testing for ads, maybe with a 90% confidence, maybe looking at call-only ads. So you build up your sequence, you give the whole thing a name, so your team's weekly workout, for example, and then you save it. And then once you save it, it sits in the custom workouts section. And then from here, notice, by the way, with Optmyzr, we have quite a few of these workouts, but for your team, probably be a somewhat shorter list, but then what you had just built would actually sit in here and be available for everyone to use. So that's another thing you get with these team capabilities. So let me show you the final capability here that's kind of very specific to teams, and that's the activity dashboard. So this is only available right now to pro users. you're not a Pro Plan user, feel free to shoot me an email at the end of the session, and we'll just give you a 30-day free upgrade so you can play with that capability. But the activity dashboard, it's somewhat meant for team leads, but I'll show it to you anyway because it's good to know what the team lead might be looking at. So it's an Optmyzr usage dashboard. So it shows me that for me, I'm 11-11 performer. I'm at 749 points, and this week, I guess I've done a lot of data analysis and run quite a few reports. So I've earned 2 new badges. But more specifically, what's interesting here is which data insights have I viewed. So for the last month, I've looked at 22 data insights. In the month before, I only looked at 13 of them, or I did that 13 times. And then I can see specifically which tools I've covered. So if I click on this right there, it tells me some of the ones that I have not been spending a lot of time with. So these are some of the data insights that I might want to view. If you want to get a download of exactly what was done, you can download it right there. Same thing for one-click optimizations. Okay, so in the recent period, I've looked at 99 one-click optimizations. In the period before, I only looked at 69. So I've significantly increased, but I'm still missing out on 6 tools that I'm not looking at. When it comes to applying one-click optimizations, obviously I give a lot of demos, so I'm mostly looking at them, not applying them very often because I want to have good suggestions to show on the demos. But you can see here that applied 7 one-click optimizations, whereas the period before I only did 1. But I've only done it for 2 tools. I myself have covered 7 out of the 31 accounts that are linked into our Optmyzr account, and you can see specifically what kind of changes I've been making. So I've updated 1 bid and made 1,264 other changes. As far as reporting, I've sent 32 reports, viewed 8 of them, and then I've scheduled 30 report links to be delivered. And you can even see a heat map of my activity. Okay, so this is actually the team activity, so you can see the way this works is each row is a day of the week, and each column is a week of the year. So you can see right here, we're in the first week of May. So here on Monday, May 1st, we were pretty active. That's a pretty dark circle. And then we've been a little bit less active as the week has gone on. And then we got 3 days left in the week, of course, so those are still blank at this point. But then you can see that throughout the year, there actually have only been 2 days when nobody was active. So on New Year's Eve, we didn't do anything. And then here, Wednesday, November 30th, I don't know what happened that day, but we also didn't do anything. And actually, there's a 3rd day right there. But so that's a good insight into what sort of activity is happening. Now, the other thing that's kind of cool, you can switch this to look at the whole team. So who are the biggest users on the platform from our team? So I'm the leader right here. Manas, our CTO, is the number 2. And then Madhurima from our support team, she's just 1 point behind Manas. So you can have a leaderboard right there and kind of know how everybody's doing. So those very specifically are some of the team capabilities that you now have access to. Of course, I do invite everyone to keep adding team members. Again, there is no more restriction on that, so you don't have to pay anything extra. The way you can do it, anyone can do it who's got access to the account. Just go into settings. And then from the settings page, you can look at the teams right there. You can see who all is on the team, and then you can invite a new team member right there. And then, the final benefit, and we put this in the email, but you'll all be getting emails of product updates, feature updates. And obviously, some people don't like to get those, so you have your own subscription preferences now. So if you want to unsubscribe from some of those emails, you can, but if you do like to get them, you won't have to rely on somebody else on the team to actually forward that. So you get that as well. So with that, those are the team capabilities. I'll pop up again the slide that shows the email address. If anyone wants to follow up on anything, we're more than happy to do that. Our email is support@optmyzr.com. Just go ahead and request a personal follow-up. And I will stick around. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that people have. But otherwise, if you want to continue the rest of your day, thank you very much for attending. Thank you very much for becoming a new team member on Optmyzr. And we hope to see you be very active on our platform.